up with the party in front of you and fill in all the available space. Sorry, it is so wide.
Asante Sana Warden. Asante Sana does mean thank you. Another word that we'll use around here is twende, which means let's go. Jambo everyone, my name is Maddie. I'm going to be your safari guide on our journey through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. Before we get started, I do have a few very important safety reminders. Please make sure to remain fully seated at all times with those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside of the truck. Now, this is a very real vehicle I am actually driving, and the road up ahead is very bumpy, so hold on to your loose items. If you do drop something along the way, just let me know. We will do our very best to get it back to you. However, I cannot guarantee it'll be in the same condition that you left it in. Once we do make our way on forward, of course, you're able to take as many photos and videos as you wish, but it is the daytime, so make sure that flash is completely turned off. If you are taking photos, I do recommend turning on live mode, sport mode, action mode on, so you can capture some of these photos as we cruise on by. Since I won't be able to stop for every single animal out here today, or else this will be a pretty long safari, and I promise every single one of them won't stop for me.
Okay, it's all battery.
It looks like we did just get that final all clear from the warden to make our way on into the reserve. So grown-ups, watch your little ones. More importantly, little ones, watch your grown-ups. We're beginning our journey here today by exploring the Little Aturi Forest. Now, coming up on your right, you're going to be able to spot an okapi roaming about. Now, okapis are commonly confused to be a relative of a zebra or even a horse, but they're actually the only known relative of a giraffe. And we know this because their skull shape is almost identical to that of a giraffe, and they'll use their long prehensile tongues in a very similar fashion to strip leaves off of branches to get all the nutrients that they'll need and to self-grow. Now, many civilizations here in Africa have known about that okapi for generations. However, Westerners didn't discover them until around 1901. Up until that point, they were believed to just be a myth. Now, straight ahead over on your right, once I fully round this corner over here, at the very tippy top of this hill, you're going to see a pretty large nest that belongs to a pair of black and white birds called the saddle-billed stork. You can kind of spot them hanging out at the very top over there on your right. Now, these birds will typically remain in monogamous pairs, which means they mate for life, and they get their name from that yellow saddle portion that's present at the very center of their beak. These birds might appear to be pretty small in size, but their wingspan is around 9 feet wide, which is just about the width of the canopy above your head. Coming up on your left, looks like there's a black rhino hanging out at the very top of this hill over here. And black rhinos are incredibly territorial. They will not share their space with other black rhinos, but they do spend quite a bit of time rolling around in the mud, since covering their skin with mud works as a natural sunscreen and insect repellent for them here in the forest. Now it looks like some more animals up ahead are crossing the road real quick, so we should be moving forward in just a little bit. Now, this is a very wonderful demonstration of the fact that the animals out here on the reserve do have the right of way. So if they make their way into the road, we do kind of have to hang out a little bit, wait for them to make their way back out. Now, there's no longer any animals in the road, but quite a few trucks ahead of us a few moments ago, there was an ostrich kind of blocking the path. So if we come to a stop, that's probably why. Got a little bit of a backup going on. But over here on your right are a few rust-colored antelope called bongos, and a few beige-colored antelope called the greater kudu. Now, if you look closely at the horns on top of these bongos' heads, you'll notice that they're twisted backwards, and that'll help them move silently through the forest without alerting any nearby predators. In contrast, none of these greater kudus have horns, which is actually the easiest way to determine that they're all females. Instead of horns, they have about 6 to 10 stripes across their body that'll help them blend in with the sun rays. Before we make our way out of the forest, we're going to take a little bit of a detour, drive on past the Safi River. Now, many of the animals that inhabit the Safi River are going to spend time just beneath the surface of the water, so pay extra close attention to some of these approaching waterways. Coming up on your right, you're going to be able to spot a few pink-backed pelicans resting up on fallen over branches. Pink-backed pelicans get their name from the light pink color their face and beak will turn during mating season. It's their own way of flirting, kind of like they're blushing, letting all the other pelicans know that they're seeking their newest mate. And over here on your right, looks like there's a Nile hippo taking a nice little nap on the bank. Now, hippos will typically spend quite a bit of time underwater as they can hold their breath for several minutes. The Latin translation for the word hippopotamus is going to be the river horse, which is pretty fitting for this species since most of the time they'll sink all the way down to the very bottom of the river and then run or walk on whatever surface is below. Just like that black rhino we got to see, hippos are going to be extremely territorial. However, unlike those black rhinos we saw, they are not solitary. We did see them hanging out in a pretty large group, and a group of hippos is referred to as a bloat. As we make our way over this bridge up ahead, take a look below. You might be able to spot a few Nile crocodiles around here. Now, Nile crocodiles are cold-blooded reptiles, which means they are unable to regulate their internal temperature. So on much cooler days like today, they'll typically rely on sunbathing to keep themselves warm. Just beneath the scales on their back is a plate that's called an osteoderm that is going to function as a natural solar panel. So as they sunbathe, that osteoderm will help them collect as much necessary heat needed to bring up their body's internal temperature. In just a few more moments, we're going to further our journey here today by entering the savannah. Now, the savannah is going to be home to quite a few different species of animals, many of which you may know and love, and probably several that you've never seen or heard of before. If you look above your head, just beneath the canopy, there's an animal spotting guide you can use to identify the many different animals we might get a chance to see out here today. Now, I can't guarantee that we'll see every single one of those animals up there, but we'll try our very hardest. Just remember that this is the home of the animals around us, which means they are the ones to both pick and choose whenever they want to come on out and say hello. It looks like we're going to get pretty lucky out here this morning. You can already see quite a few familiar faces around here. There are a few Hartman's Mountain zebras, even some Maasai giraffes coming up. If you look to your right, kind of blending in with those two grown-ups over there, you can spot a baby giraffe. Now, we probably won't be able to spot him on the other side just because he's kind of hiding in the bushes over there. Once I fully round this corner, you guys will get a little bit of a better view. But there are a few wildebeest just kind of hanging out just in front of them as well. Now, wildebeest will be the second most densely populated mammals on the planet. They're second only as humans. They will often migrate in some super large numbers, with the largest migration ever recorded having around 1.5 million wildebeest traveling together at once. Oh, it looks like that little one's decided to make his way on over to another area, so we should be able to get a pretty good view of him as we keep going forward. The giraffes alone are going to be the tallest land animals on the planet. When born, they're about 6 feet tall, and then they can grow to be up to 20 feet tall. Majority of their length does go towards their neck and their legs, and giraffes actually have the same number of vertebrae in their neck as we humans do. The only difference is that their vertebrae is going to be significantly longer.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't he just the cutest thing? I just want to put him in my pocket. Just hop on into the truck. No, don't do that. Anyway, as we keep on going forward, take a look at the landscape ahead of us. I'm sure all of you can see there is a really big difference between being in the forest and being out here on the savannah. Just not enough large bushes, not enough large trees with low-hanging branches filled with leaves, which means not enough places for these animals to hide. So many of the animals that do inhabit the savannah will rely on strength in numbers by staying in large groups rather than trying to camouflage because there's just not a lot of places for them to blend in. Don't worry, we're going to take a lot of turns and get so much closer to all of these tall and small friends as we keep going forward. But if you look to your left, just behind the den over here, you can spot a group of African painted dogs laying down. They're blending in really well with those leaves. Now, despite their very cute and extremely cuddly exterior, African painted dogs are considered to be the most successful hunters in Africa, with about an 80% success rate. To your left are some familiar faces with these extremely large horns, and this is called an Ankole cattle. A little further out, there are a few copper-colored antelope called the sable antelope. And if you recognize the sable antelope, that's probably because they are the emblem here at the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, the reason for that is when given the option of fight or flight, they will always choose to stay and protect their families. On your right is a beige-colored antelope. This is called an eland. The elands will be the largest species of antelope, and as they migrate, their kneecaps will make a clicking sound to alert any nearby elands of their presence. It'll help prevent territorial disputes from occurring during migration, very similar to how sea creatures use echolocation with a similar purpose in mind. Just to go back towards those Ankole cattle that we got to see, since I didn't really get to talk about them too much while we were over there. Ankole cattle will look very similar to your modern day cow. However, here in Africa, they're known to be a sign of wealth amongst farmers. It looks like we're gonna get a pretty good view at these zebras wandering about over on your right. And this specific species of zebra is a Hartman's mountain zebra. They are going to be black with white stripes and not white with black stripes, and we know this because their snout is the same shade of black compared to the rest of the stripes that they'll have across their body. I'll go ahead and stop one more time for this little one over here on your right, enjoying some nice breakfast. We have gotten to see quite a few of those zebras just kind of wandering around all together. And zebras are incredibly social animals. They are going to remain in very large groups, and a group of zebras all together is referred to as a dazzle. On your left looks like there is another one of these giraffes over here. And just like the okapi that we saw not too long ago, giraffes do have long prehensile tongues that'll be around 18 inches in length. And for all my grown-ups aboard, that's around the length of the tip of your middle finger all the way down to your elbow. On your right, you can see a few teeny tiny, more colored antelope just kind of grazing on the grass back there. And those are called springboks. The springboks get their name from their ability to jump up super high into the sky. They can jump up at around 9 feet high and then 13 feet forward when frightened. Their teeny tiny bodies do make them extremely agile, so springboks can run at around 53 miles an hour, which makes them one of the top 10 fastest land animals on the planet. As we further our journey on through the savannah, I'm going to let the truck ahead of us get a little bit more wiggle room, but I do see quite a few toppled over tree trunks up ahead, which means we must be approaching some elephant territory. Looks like I was right. Coming up on your right is a really good view at a male African elephant over here. Looks like we're not too keen on facing us over here, but no worries. I'll still go ahead and stop for him. Keep a close eye out on your left as well, because you might be able to spot a few mandrills monkeying around. They do like to hide from me this time of day, so kind of look in those corners and bushes. We might be able to spot some of them. Looks like not very much luck with those mandrills out here this morning. It is pretty cold outside. They don't really like to make their way on out when it's chilly. But I can tell that that African elephant we got to see back there is a male, because he was just hanging out all by himself. Once male elephants reach maturity, they will branch off and form their own little bachelor herd, while the females and their calves remain in their own respective herd. Those larger groups are typically led by a matriarch, which means that the eldest female elephant will be the leader of the herd, normally since she can remember the most number of migration patterns. And when it gets really, really hot around the savannah, elephants will often flop their ears back and forth to keep themselves cool. And that's because the interior of their ears is made up of a tiny blood vessel system. So as they get cool air beneath their ears, elephants are able to bring down their body's internal temperature. As we make our way beneath this bridge up ahead, if you take a look at the rocks beside us, you'll notice they are covered in some sort of red substance, and this is going to be called red clay. I do see quite a few elephant footprints up ahead. There's even some tusk marks stuck into this clay to your right, which means hopefully we'll be able to spot another herd of elephants up ahead. Elephant tusks are going to be just very large incisor teeth that are made out of ivory. They're often used to topple over trees, to defend themselves against predators, and to dig up at some of that red clay we got to see, as it contains quite a few different minerals that are very essential to their overall diet. Once we make our way on forward, on your left, looks like we're going to get another really good view at another elephant over here. In order to get all the nutrients that they need, elephants will use their trunks to aid in eating, drinking, and even playing. So they can gather up fallen over branches to play around with, or they might pick up some leaves and hay from the ground to bring to their mouth to eat. Now, many people do have the misconception that elephants can drink water up their trunks, but that's not quite true. If they tried, it would be very painful, similar to one of us humans drinking water up our noses. So instead, elephants will fill their trunks up with water and bring it to their mouth to drink, just like they're using a straw. Now, I did see some of you notice there's a baby elephant hiding behind this rock over here, right in the very center. You can just kind of see her forehead, top of her body over there, blending in really well. It's a little shiny part over those rocks over there. Elephants are some extremely large animals, as we've gotten to see out here today. Oh, you can see her a little bit better over here. Now, it does take quite a bit of time for them to grow. Elephants actually have the longest gestation period of any terrestrial animal, with females remaining pregnant for approximately 22 months. And once those calves are born, they're around 3 feet tall, weighing somewhere between 2 to 300 pounds. We are approaching a very large flamboyance of greater flamingos. And flamingos get the pink color that's in their feathers from the beta carotene that's in the shrimp that they eat. So if you look closely, some of these flamingos might appear to be lighter in color than the rest, and that just means they haven't had enough of that beta carotene recently to bring out those darker pink feathers, since they do have the ability to lose that pink color that's in their feathers over time. A greater flamingos in specific will be the lightest shade of pink compared to any other flamingo species. And a flamboyance will have somewhere between hundreds to thousands of them together all at once. Over here on your left is going to be a very large and pretty recently used mud wallow. Mud wallows are used by many of the larger animals on the savanna, like elephants and rhinos, since rolling around in the mud, covering their skin with dirt is going to help protect them from the sun and insects and any diseases they may carry, just like back over in the forest. Over time, these mud wallows can turn into watering holes that many large and small animals will use during long periods of drought. As I round this corner over here, look extra closely. You might be able to spot a few cheetahs up ahead. The cheetahs are masters at camouflage, and the spot pattern on their fur is going to help them stay hidden from any nearby predators. They are the fastest land animals on the planet, with the ability to reach speeds of about 60 miles an hour in just 3 seconds. Their semi-retractable claws will work as natural cleats for them to maintain balance and direction as they run. Looks like we might not be able to spot any of those cheetahs out here so far this morning. Might be a little too chilly, might be waiting for some more of the sun to peek through those branches. Well, let's see who else we can find out here today. And we are approaching an extremely large Kopi rock formation up ahead. And Kopi rocks are home to some of the larger cats around the savannah, like lions. And it looks like these guys are more than happy to be outside during this nice weather. They can actually spot not one, not two, but 3 lions hanging out over here. We got 2 females and a male just kind of wandering about. The lions will make their dens at the very tippy top of these rocks so that they can overlook the savannah and seek out any prey that may be nearby. They are nocturnal animals, which means they'll sleep for most of the day and then be much more active at night. At nighttime, the female lion will do most of the hunting for the pride, while the male stays behind, protects their den, and takes care of their cubs. So I like to say we can think of male lions as just really great stay-at-home dads. Everybody hold on, be quiet. Listen closely, I think he's gonna roar. Maybe not. It's okay, he tricked me. Over on your right, you can see a few white rhinos over here. Now don't worry, we're gonna loop around, get another good look at them as we keep going on forward. And just like any other cat that you may know and love, lions do love to sleep throughout the day. They can actually sleep for somewhere between 16 to 20 hours a day. He's like he's doing a fake out because you guys saw his mouth was like open, and he does that where he like moves his head forward right before he does it, and he's just tricking me. It's okay. We can see plenty of other animals out here so far today. We're going to get another good look at these white rhinos coming up over on your right. Now, unlike the black rhino that we did get to see earlier, white rhinos are considered to be a semi-social species, which means they'll remain in large herds called a crash. If you look just beside this green truck as well, looks like there's an ostrich bothering that driver. And there's even a water buck hanging out just beside them as well. The water bucks get their name since they are commonly found near large bodies of water. And their skin will release an oily secretion meant to cover their fur and make them waterproof, while releasing a very specific scent that'll help them identify one another in the wild as well. See, he probably tricked the truck behind us too because they were waiting over there for a while. He's trying to mess with all of us. It's Halloween, trick or treat. He's just messing with us. On your right, if you look at the ground, there are a few recently laid ostrich eggs over here. And when laid, these eggs will weigh about 3 pounds each, which is the same weight of around 2 dozen chicken eggs. Now we are going to make our way out of the savannah and into the Magadi Glen, where the warden has decided to set up her post. Now the warden lives out here on the reserve to help care for all the animals that call this place their home and to make sure they have everything they might need. However, as we get closer, many of you will see it appears like a group of Nigerian dwarf goats have decided to move in with her. Now, despite their size, all of the goats out here on the reserve are fully grown and a type of dairy goat, which means that in exchange for caring for these animals, the warden is able to collect some of that milk of theirs and either keep it for herself or bring it to the local market for sale. Now our journey through the reserve is coming to an end, and as we make our way back, all my grown-ups and little ones aboard, take a quick look around and make sure you're gathering up all those personal belongings. Every single one of you aboard today does have a role to play in conservation, and you just took the very first step by coming on this safari and being open to learning more about these animals and their natural habitats. And one of the easiest ways to aid in conservation all the way back at home is to do exactly what I've been doing for our entire journey here today, and that's to just talk about all the wonderful animals we got to see. Share all the super cool facts I taught you along the way, but don't forget to express the importance of protecting these animals and their homes. Remember, something as simple as reducing, reusing, and you guessed it, recycling will go a very long way to help them out. But if you want to make a difference all the way here at Animal Kingdom, you can donate towards the Disney Conservation Fund at any merchandise store. The Walt Disney World Company will match every cent and dollar that is donated, so you can round your purchase up to its nearest dollar or donate more if you feel so inclined. Lastly, if I happen to have any wilderness explorers aboard today, you have been on the Simba 1. Simba like the lion, S-I-M-B-A, and 1 like the number. You can write that down on page 14, 1-4 of your booklet, to grab that badge as you exit. Now looks like it is just about our turn to make our way towards that unloading area in a few more moments. But if you didn't get a chance to see an animal you were really looking forward to seeing out here today, do not worry, you are more than welcome to make your way back and join us for another safari. No two will be the same, each will be at least slightly different, so you might get a chance to see a few familiar faces next time you join us that you just didn't get the opportunity to see out here today.
You're late for work.
I am off today because it's Halloween. You know,
Now it looks like our
Pretty soon I'll be off for 6
journey is just about coming to an end. And here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye. That is just way too sad and far too final. So I'll leave you all with one more Swahili word, and that word is kwaherini, which means to go well. So, kwaherini everyone, my name is Maddie, I am from Miami, Florida, and I hope you had a very wonderful and truly magical time on your journey through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today, and please enjoy the rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. You got it, Warden. On the right hand side, watch your hands on seat legs, doors are sliding open, and watch your step as you exit. Kwaherini and Asante Sana, everyone. Thank you so much for letting me today.